I'm the teenager Kopp. I don't know. There you go.
Close enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm Rio Miranda.
Push buttons.
We have examples for those of you who don't understand.
I have the opposite end of this where it's like I found the gimmick to be fun, but they had nothing in this episode. The characters have nothing to say, nothing to do with each other or any sort of interaction. And it was a cool gimmick, and there were a lot of cool moments in this episode, but this is probably my least favorite of the episode, where it was like it was like, oh cool, these two are alone. Let's see what they talk about. And nothing. And it's like, oh, the teenager that are gonna die. And so we'll get into it, but it's like there's a lot of cool stuff in this episode, but man, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I feel like you didn't actually watch this episode. Maybe go rewatch
Are they
it
gonna get
because
better writers?
there was
Like I can rewatch shit. It's still gonna be a pile of
no, it
shit.
was so good.
Is Wanda dead? Yes. No, maybe. I don't want to have an answer because that would be making up my mind. And it was like there were every moment was like that. It's like the gimmick of her going in and out of reality time, that was fun. Didn't really do much with it. Um yeah. Yeah, this one's rough.
That's what tied it all
The
together,
bad
though.
writing.
The fact that she went in and out of time tied all of the tarot
Yeah,
together. I'm sorry that you
sure,
have no
sure.
depth
Yep.
to your soulless
Yep.
ginger self.
Yeah. It's
Oh my god.
yeah.
His true
It's true.
soulless ginger self has
And
come
it's just
out at
like,
this
yeah.
point because the tarot has been predicted through all of this. They finally tie it all together, and he's like,
The
"Yeah, no,
tarot card
that's
stuff was
terrible.
great. It's
We
all the
didn't predict
dialogue
all of
that
that."
any of them were saying ever in this episode. It's 37 minutes, and it's the longest fucking 37 minutes of your life. If you're on death row, watch this. It'll feel longer. Like every time, what's your favorite line from any of them when they're alone? The two of them just talking. What's your favorite lines of this episode?
From the, if you want straight answers,
There you go.
ask a
That's not
straight
bad.
person.
If she said it for nonstop for 37 minutes, it might be more interesting.
No, you asked a deliberate question,
Yep.
and I gave you a very deliberate answer.
Yeah.
He's just done. He's like, you know what? Fuck him this time.
Yep.
This is where I walk out. He's so fucking wrong. I can't even
Well,
deal.
before Jericho's back, let's move on to the James Kopp segment of the show and talk about all the things we don't like.
Yeah.
Because three of us aren't going to say anything.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and
So
shit
first of
all over this,
there was
which
some
makes
audio
no
issues,
fucking
so
sense
me
right
and
now.
you weren't being heard.
Eh.
But we didn't have much to say. It was mostly them, so that's good.
Yeah.
But we've said that we really liked this
Yes.
episode. So
Wait, did,
No,
did
you were
my
fine. You were
argumentation
fine,
this
apparently.
one was great.
Just
Actually.
us live in the
Okay,
studio.
good.
That we didn't say anything at all.
Because I needed to be heard vehemently opposing this man.
Us live in the studio, they're the ones that can't be heard, and apparently that's fine.
But
We don't draw the ratings. This
great.
idiot does over here.
No, check it out.
We
I
can
think-
do better, you guys.
I
We
think
can do
this,
so much better.
I gotta push back too. I thought it was an excellent episode. I think the things that they did have to say, I thought were great. I thought finally, honestly, on some of them, there were. I will agree. What's the potion lady's name again? Jen. She was more reacting, but especially the Lillian character just had a lot, and I think just some of the reveals from Billy, like him calling out, like, who am I, kind of thing, like actually going into that, just, and, what's her name? Catherine Hahn. She didn't say a lot in this, but her reactions to things and just, the things that she did have to do, I enjoyed. And I liked the jumping back and forth in time. And then
I did too.
I feel really like it's one of those things where it made me want to go, oh shit, I want to go back and watch, even though they probably just showed me every moment in this episode, which is fine. But it still makes me want to kind of go back and go, oh, okay, all right, these things were happening. Again, something that you didn't hear that Matt said earlier was, that it just shows how well planned out this series was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, again, I just really
the don't save Agatha moment, like all the jumping back and forth. The gimmick of jumping back and forth was great, like how they used it. And oh man. So my biggest bitches here is just the writing and the lack of we're going into the home stretch here, and we learned more about the characters.
Wishes Shakespeare wrote these.
Yeah. It's with this episode, we learned like why things were happening, but we didn't really learn anything. I was hoping to learn a lot more about the characters, and we didn't learn much of anything about the characters in this episode. And then the one-on-one interactions that we had, where it's like, oh, it's going to be these two characters, and we're going to see how they work together, and it just was, there was nothing there.
Hold on, though. Like, you got to say, Lillian, we learned a million things about Lillian in this episode. We learned, again, not just the gimmick of her jumping through time, but the reason why she didn't want to be in a coven anymore. Her whole coven died, and she could do nothing about it, so she didn't want to live through that fucking pain anymore. She'd been pushing the fact that she was a witch away, and all the gimmicks and everything about it, she'd been hating on it, and in the end, dressed as fucking Glinda the Good Witch, she embraces it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was amazing character development. How is it not?
Yeah, the depth of why she chooses to be the fraud that she is, like no other person who palm reads or fortune tells or tarot reads tells you that they're a fraud, because that is a choice that they made, not because it's profitable or because they think it's glamorous or whatever purpose it is. She chose this because she did not want to be a part of what she had been through before. She chose this because of the pain and the anguish and everything she'd been through. She didn't want to live through that again. She didn't want to be a part of that. She wanted to forget all that. She wanted to put all that behind her because it was too much. The depth of character from that was amazing to me.
Yeah, it sucked. It just fucking sucked. Like it's like and I like her as an actor, and I like the character, and she's had some really good choice. And I was like, oh, we're going back into her past, and we're gonna see all this, and like nothing of that worked for me. Like all of it was just kind of like, it's just lazy.
Well,
she pretended like she basically had dementia.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am going to be so frustrated with you this entire fucking episode.
My last big one was I was kind of hoping to get a lot more of like death and Aubrey Plaza in this one. And we got a couple of good shots of her, but that was just kind of it. Like
I thought that the reveal of her and everything, I thought that was really good, even though it was a reveal that we already kind of knew. It was still real good. It looked real fucking good, like the comic book, accurate, good, you know, like that was great. I don't know. I like the costumes, man. Like
I see more of Aubrey
Let's
Plaza
go into the
all
stuff
the
we like
fucking time.
you guys
liked
everything, so let's go into the stuff. I want
to interject here. James, you ignorant slut.
There you go. Perfect. Let's go into the stuff we liked, and beyond the gimmick, the time traveling gimmick, which I did like. It was like fun to see her go in and out of the other episodes.
It's not a gimmick. It's important to the whole fucking storyline.
So, but it's okay.
You can't call it a gimmick if it's crucial to how the whole storyline works and how this entire episode works.
Is a gimmick. It just is a gimmick to time travel. Like
it's not time travel.
Yeah,
it is more like it's more like what's his name, the Watchmen.
Experiencing life.
She's phasing in and out of time mentally.
Or the loss. Or
She's not time traveling. Her brain is going in and out of different parts of her life to piece things together to make sense of reality. So it's not time travel at all. Like, we got to throw that out the window. That's not what this is. Her brain is traveling through different parts of her life and piecing things together to make sense of what's happening now, to be a part of what's happening now.
Oh my God. It's like, you know what? So you're saying, no. So James, according to you, Encanto is a time travel movie. Because
when they go into the past?
Not that. No, because Bruno has the exact same set of powers. He can see things throughout any time. He knows what's going to happen. Yeah. He knows he can't do anything to prevent what's happening or anything like that. So basically, it's the same thing. That's you is time travel. But
Encanto's different because the rules are he has to set up his thing and do his whole thing to that. She is unwillingly going.
He doesn't have to. He did that as a show. Literally every single other prediction he has that they sing.
You're right.
That they sing.
Don't throw away your semantics, Kopp.
Every other prediction he has that they sing about in his song. He doesn't go through a song and dance or set it up. That's just how he is.
So if you don't want to call it a time travel gimmick, we'll just call it bitch unstuck gimmick. Like whatever you want to call the gimmick. I don't care. Like it's
yes, you do.
But the thing is, like it worked. It worked well, and so that was actually one of the things I liked. I liked the arguments about tarot cards, and I love the set in which they had the tarot card reading. Like I think that set might be one of their more interesting sets, just for the fact that it's swords, there's so many tarot cards of swords, and the fact that it's just swords falling on you, the fact and then the big reveal at the end was really nice. So I
definitely enjoyed also the costuming with them
dressing up famous witches
as the different witches, you know what I mean? Again, that irony that was going through. Again, not a
little mad at the teenager that he didn't work it more.
I thought it was a good amount. I thought it was.
For you?
No, it's not being about gay. It's about being Maleficent, man. Like it's not. It's just beyond gender. If you're gonna be in that outfit, fucking work it. You know. It doesn't got nothing to be about gay or straight. You in that outfit, you work.
And again, I really did enjoy just that him calling out, "Who am I?" That's being his true type of thing. Kind of just kind of getting a better. I felt like I got a better grasp on what every character wants out of this. You know what I mean? Really wants out of this. Even though you don't get a lot of words out of Agatha, and I think you get more about that she doesn't know exactly what she wants out of this, that it's between two things. And one of them is her son, and the other one is Rio, is my guess. Or death. So
I'm going to go now. So here's what James missed. James missed that Jen as a character grew. Because James hasn't really been paying attention to the rest of the series and kind of it displays
James
it each
what?
Jen as a character grew in this episode.
Yes.
And James seems to have missed that. Go back and look at the other trials, other than the episode 5, where Agatha just kind of ditches out. Okay. Jen is the first one to leave every single time. She just gets out because she doesn't want anything to do with it. And this time, she has reached the point where she understands that she needs to help out everybody else, especially Lillian's character. Because she tried to be the last person to leave from this one this time, until she was told to move along.
Yes, I agree, and I have a prediction.
And she was a lot more patient with Lillian than she's been with any other character the entire rest of the time, especially going back to episode 5, where she was just done, wanted Agatha out of it, so she could move on more than just everybody else could move on.
Do you think she's Mr. Burns at the ski lodge retreat, where she's planted something that she can get away on? Huh?
No.
What would be the reason for that?
Okay, so here's the thing. One thing that has been hinted at but not explicitly spelled out is, well, first off, episode 6 tells something about the road, which was that the road gives you what you're missing, not specifically what you want, but what you're but what you're missing. There have been 2 characters who have gotten what they're missing, that being Alice and Lillian. And what was their reward for getting what they're missing? Death.
Yep, I agree.
But death on the road, they might have just got pulled out of the road and back into their reality, right?
Nope.
It's the comic books, and I'm saying this not to bash the show. I'm saying this like in Marvel Comics, people don't really die.
I agree.
No, we
do that later.
Right, we understand, but for the context of the show, no. Death was their ultimate reward because what they're missing completed them as a character and as a person. Alice's, what she was missing was closure for what happened to her mom, what's happened to her family over the years. Yeah. Lillian's what Lillian was missing was the sense of community with a coven and being able to accept that as part of what she needs in her life, and that is completely a part of her life. Because that's why the Three of Pentacles, not Three of Pentacles, whatever the Pentacles one, Seven of Pentacles, when she realized that was the coven, that's what her ultimate goal was. She got it, and then she accepted the fact that she acquired what was missing in her life, and that was what finally allowed her to be able to die, even though her entire life she's seen nothing but death and known nothing but death. That for herself, she could accept it the same way her, whatever the character is, as I don't know Italian very well, that she had the conversation with pretty much this entire episode, had quote unquote accepted death, because then she knew that was just part of what life was. Jet.
How does that work for Kitty?
Because she was free.
Maybe
she was
right at home.
She was free from everything. She had already lost her husband, and now she was free from both the spell that Wanda put her under, and she was free from any other part of that entire thing.
I think another thing that ties these threads all together too is the simple embracing of the coven.
Mm-hmm.
And she was one of the first. She was one of the first ones to do it, and each of them did embrace it because what did Alice was the last thing she did is what she was trying to protect the kid, and she had shirked whatever was bugging her, and then she was like a part of the coven. Same thing with Lillian. She'd embraced the coven, then boom, next thing she's dead. And that was the thing too. Is I think that same thing's going to probably happen.
And then Jen, even though Jen's trial was first and she passed it, she didn't actually acquire anything that she was missing. She got some of herself back, that she has a little more confidence in terms of what she can do and everything like that, and make it actual reality to being a witch. But she still has that missing component to her as to where her actual self is and what happened to it with this individual who we saw kind of in a vision flashback in episode 3,
right.
That doctor character. So there's still something that's going to happen with that, and until that happens, she's not going to die. Will she still end up dead at the end of the series? That we'll see. But she may actually live because she hasn't acquired what she's actually missing. So that has been a through line for this entire series.
Well,
do we want to take bets? Who's going to make it to the final episode?
Oh, I think it's
all
that the Jen doesn't make it, and it's going to be.
Well, I don't think. I think Jen's going to make it till episode 9, but I don't think she's going to survive episode 9.
I don't think she'll survive the series, and I think that Agatha, Rio, and the boy, they'll all survive in somehow because you don't, Hopefully Marvel's smart enough to stop killing off all their good villains, and Aubrey Plaza has got to, you have some legs with her running as a villain.
I think she's going to be some penultimate thing at the end of this, and it's going to be glorious.
Yeah.
I think they're holding back on her, and it's going to be something that's going to blow all of our minds.
She's going to fight Agatha. They're going to fight each other.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Over the boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's over the boy. I think.
Then what's the point of him other than, hey, I'm going to be a young Avengers later?
For his own goals, that's what the next episode's going to show. Because his trial still hasn't happened.
Yeah, stabbing the stove could tell you.
We've got a good blacksmith here in town, but I got a good guy.
All right. Or the porno version of Sword in the Stone.
There's that.
You would know, sir. You would know.
For the Bad B movie that they made, The Staff and the Stoned. It's one of them weed comedies that goes straight to streaming.
That's definitely a porno flick for sure.
Starring Joe Locke.
Okay, should we rate this fucking show? Do we need to say anything else? We're already moving on to
should we talk about what we think moving forward, or do
that's
we want to do that?
That's after rating. Okay, so I will say this for you, James. That this episode lends credence to your dislike of episode 1, because episode 1 from this episode basically just shows that all episode 1 is a transition episode between WandaVision and this series.
Yeah.
Yes, it needs to exist, but it also kind of exists in this world between the two series and doesn't seem to wholly belong to Agatha All Along, because it doesn't fully separate itself from WandaVision.
Well, that's one thing that does concern me too, but we'll talk about that in the next part.
And that's fine. And whether or not that's a good thing or not, we'll see, because we'll see if they do the same thing for the next series, WandaVision, if the first episode is kind of a tie-in episode between this and Vision Quest.
I hated WandaVision, but there were a lot of people that liked it. And so it's like, if you're going to do a spin-off that's of WandaVision, the first episode probably should be a little WandaVision-y, right? Like, that's just logical. Like, if I'm going to do a spin-off of Taxi, maybe the first couple episodes, there's a lot of Taxi action in there, And so it just makes sense to do that.
Did they
No, they
not
did.
do
It was
that?
just fucking
I'm
unwatchable.
confused.
It was just fucking like it was.
No, you asked for it and they gave it to you like in a literal form, and it wasn't
good enough
good
for
enough
James.
for you.
They could give-
Bad writing's bad writing. Do
I
something.
understand
Do
that,
something.
but you're like,
Oh.
they fucking gave it to you, and they drew it out like in literal black and white, and you were like, yeah, no, nope.
All right, let's rate it.
James is a 2-year-old who you give him. You give him.
Yeah,
yes.
I asked for the pink cup. You gave me the pink cup.
Throw that.
Why
now
would you
fuck
give me
your
the
life.
pink cup?
Fuck your life.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Speaking of 2-year-olds, James, go ahead and give your rating.
James already said it. 2.
Yeah, give your
2.
rating,
You
bitch.
said 2, yeah.
Would he say anything else at this point in time?
This episode had like a lot of neat little ideas and stuff, and it's only 37 minutes long. But good God, if you have to stop and listen to anybody speak in this episode, God help you.
All right, let's go stark opposite. Might as well.
Yep.
Miranda, what do you think?
I am gonna give it a 4.5. I liked the way that it looked. I was excited knowing ahead of time that it was gonna look the way it was gonna look. I liked the tarot. That was super cool, seeing it actually played out. And I cried. Like, watching the Good Witch death was moving. She sacrificed herself for them, and that was really amazing. I don't think we talked about that. Like, we never,
like, that was badass.
Yeah.
So
like, and we played a callback to all the other episodes. It was a super great tie-in to everything we've built up this whole entire time. So all the things that my husband has talked about this whole time about reading into all of this stuff, this all came to fruition, and it was amazing to see. And she sacrificed herself, which all the other deaths were incidental, accidental, whatever you want to say about them. But hers was purposeful. She knew death was coming for her, and she accepted it, and she did what she needed to do. And that was glorious to me.
Thank you very much. I'll go next. I give it a 5. This was the best episode for me so far. I want to say another thing about all the callbacks to the episode. I appreciate that they did this episode 7 and not in the last episode, that they didn't
for the final.
Make this the whole fucking thing. Like, they threaded a lot of shit through this. You know what I mean? That was amazing to do this reveal at episode 7. And then, it makes me excited for the finale, actually. And I think it's been a long time since I felt that way about a Marvel show. I can't remember the last one that I did. It wasn't even Loki season 2, really. You know what I mean?
Wasn't Secret Invasion.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Secret Invasion.
Which, is it not too late to get a tax write-off on Secret Invasion?
I mean, it's too late. You already showed it.
Batgirl it.
So yeah, that's how I feel about that. This was an excellent episode.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this episode was a 5. I mean, this was the perfect episode for this series, and one of, if not the best episode for any of the Marvel series so far. I'd put it up there with episode 4 of Loki as well, season 1 of Loki as well, as being just excellent writing, excellent bringing it all together, type such. I mean, for as much as you want to complain about the writing, James, I don't understand how you don't give it that everything had to depend upon coming together to this episode to make it work, and it did work. It did create a cohesion, episodes 2 through 7. Because like I said, episode 1 kind of stands on its own, other than kind of introducing Rio's character. Episodes 2 through 7, this was the culmination of everything that they were doing through those episodes and everything like that. And it was well thought out, it was well executed, it was well acted. Jen wasn't as grating of a character as she kind of has been for most of the rest of the time, because she didn't seem to be the quote-unquote hater of the group anymore. But yeah, I mean, it told and a self-contained episode, it told a story. So even if you hadn't watched the other 4 episodes before it, it still told a story that was easy enough to follow. So it was 5 episodes before that. So it still told a story that was easy enough to follow. Well, as much as going between different time periods in your head is easy to follow. But once you put it all together, you understand what they were doing and what they were going for, and that a lot of it worked. I mean, other things that we didn't mention too is that the way out on the road was what Mrs. Hart / Sharon Davis had said. She assumed that it was the old underground of Westview that never got off the ground. It's another foreshadow to something I think is coming in next episode that explains what the road actually is and who actually created it. Which I've already put as a thing before, is that I'm pretty sure that the teen / Billy created the road that they're on.
Oh, interesting.
And not just because of all the little things you saw from episode 6 where, hey, those things appeared in this episode, that appeared in this episode, like that. No, it's still ongoing. The road is still building off of him. So the road, both as an entity, exists, and it exists because of what he has put into it and what he has created.
That's interesting too, and it would be real interesting if Billy had actually made a deal with Rio in the beginning, because Rio just wants the deaths, right?
Well, what about the line where he says, "I'm pretty sure you've never been down the road before"?
Who said that?
Billy said it to Agatha this episode, where he says, basically I have my doubts that you've ever been on the road," and Agatha has this look like he may not be wrong.
Yeah, maybe she lied, because she's lied about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
So, could be a total lie. And remember, we did see in Agatha, or in WandaVision, that she sapped all the power from all of her mom's coven in the beginning. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just, where she got all her power from in the first place, is because she could saps it like a vampire, and was working with Rio for a long time, just gathering it up. But it would be interesting, like I say, if Billy had made a deal with Rio in the end and created this and did all those things. You know what I mean? There was also
Billy was the one that's been pushing for the road. He's the one that starts every one of the events, as Christensen pointed out. It's like the idea that he invented that he made it in, whatever realm, and they're all experiencing it for the first time. It's an interesting thought.
So when he asks who is Rio, is that more of a question to make her realize who Rio really is?
Billy
or
is trying to find his brother, and if Rio can find his brother, you know what I mean? Know where he was reincarnated to. Yeah.
So it brings up this thing from episode 2 when they first meet Lillian, and she says that the road is a myth. I think her saying that is both the truth and a catalyst for Billy to basically take it as however he wants to in terms of what the road is going to be. I think the road is a thing that was created by witches as a method by which, yes, they could acquire more power, but the road back then wasn't a metaphysical thing that they had to open up and go to, a separate realm or anything like that. I think it was just this series of trials and everything like that, which also works to Alice's mom, that she was on her own version of the road the entire time. She didn't physically visit some other realm or existence the way they are technically doing right now.
Literally on the road.
Yeah, she was literally on the road.
Yeah, but I think that metaphor is more a metaphor for that coven thing, because I think what the biggest thing that they keep on showing is that they're worse off separate. Like, they're better together as a coven. Like, the witch's coven is the important part of it. That when you stray from that, you lose your power. You know, or you go astray with your power, or however it is, it's bad. It's the bad way to go. So,
but also the road not being an actual thing that witches have ever done kind of lends to the whole thing with Agatha too, is that she's a braggart about this and that. I was like, oh yeah, the road being this powerful thing. Oh yeah, of course I've been on it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think even with her is that
I inspired her.
Just like with Alice's mom.
Yeah.
Agatha did go on a version of the road to acquire the power, but the power that she acquired, as we all know, was the Darkhold, which more amplified what her own powers were that she was born with, which we'll probably get a fuller explanation of that in the next, probably the next episode, along with whatever we're going to learn.
They
for the
say
rest of
they got a vaccine for Darkhold.
Yeah. Well, again, we don't know for sure that that's what she got from the road, or that she got that from the road.
She got the clap
She could
from
just
the road.
be lying.
She could be, but she acquired the Darkhold through some method, and I think that's
Some
why
method, but
that's why Rio and her have this
yes.
frenemy-like situation between each other.
If you're just joining us on doubleentendres.com.
Mm-hmm. But we can talk about that more right now as we speculate as to what's going to happen in the last.
We've been speculating.
I know, but more directly in speculation.
Yeah, what do we hope to see out of the final 2 episodes? Miranda, let's start with you.
I want to see whatever is the true bond between the teen and Agatha, because I feel like there's some sort of really true bond there. There's a reason those two have been brought together. There's a reason destiny, fate, whatever, has put the two of them together. And I want to see what that really is. There's a reason their paths have intertwined, because based on fate and how witches work and everything, there has to be some reason they're drawn to each other, and I want to know what that is.
All right.
And I'm not as into the comic book lore as the rest of you guys are, so I understand there might be some pieces that I'm missing out on.
I barely know some of these fucking characters. I read comics, not every comic. Like,
yeah.
You know.
But I feel that there is some strong bond that they are building to, and I want to know what that is and what the penultimate conclusion is to that relationship, because it will be ultimately very destructive or ultimately very beneficial to the two of them, and I want to see where that goes.
All right, Mr. Kopp. Besides writing,
yeah, no, that's what I'm going to say. I want an ending. If you give us, I want understanding of these characters, the resolution, and their goal. Don't Kenobi us. What was the last one we did? Ahsoka or what? Not Ahsoka. What was it? That trash one with Yoda.
Acolyte.
Yeah, Acolyte. Don't Acolyte us. Don't act like I'm not looking for Agatha season 2. Give us like what you did with Loki or something. Give us an ending, and make it a quality ending. And so that's what I'm looking for. But if we get to this end and there isn't an ending and a bunch of questions, I hate it.
I don't think you have to worry about that because
that'd be nice.
Because even though WandaVision had an ending that set up something else, that ending came after the conclusion of that ending came after the conclusion of what the series itself was.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying that this is going to have a similar thing, that it's going to have an ending that concludes all of this. I too am hoping that it is good, because Marvel has a tendency not to have their conclusions be that great at times, more often than not, unfortunately. But I don't think it's going to set up for anything specific, because this was wrapped and ready to go prior to them announcing there's going to be a third part to the trilogy with Vision Quest. So So there may be a post-credit scene that they do something else with Billy, but I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the rest of what we're going to see. So I'm still going to go back to the trailers and everything else like that. Next episode is going to be Billy's trial. And what I believe is going to come out of Billy's trial is two things. One, with Billy himself, is the point of him asking the question is that's going to be part of his trial. Whether or not he's William or he's Billy.
Okay.
And there's going to be some sort of, he's going to get some sort of closure on that. Okay. Which, because that now becomes a closure, and that is truly what he is missing, not his brother. It's going to
just who is he?
Yes, who is he?
And baby, aren't we all looking?
That is what is going to put him at actual risk with Rio and death.
Aren't we all just trying to find out who we are?
Is there something in the verbiage that there's William and Billy and they're both basically
Bills?
The same name?
That's just more of a writer thing.
Book thing
yeah.
Did.
I mean,
because the similarity between the two of them
when they
is
find his brother. His brother's name Tommy still too.
Yeah, so
just a different last name. So
no, I get it because we're basic.
So even to hit.
I just find it amusing.
It is amusing.
But even to him, like episode 6 tries to go this length to set up that okay, the road gets to you what you're missing, and in Billy's mind, what he's missing is his brother.
Yeah.
And this episode showed that no, that's not what he's missing. He is missing. He is missing his identity.
His identity.
Yeah. Who he actually is. Is he really William, or is he really Billy who went into William's body when he died? So that's what the next episode is going to be. He's going to get his answer on that. Agatha is going to continue on this path of treating him as if he is her lost son. And so whether or not it explains in episode 8 or episode 9 what actually happened to her son and what she did to acquire the Darkhold, we'll see. But I think that is what Rio was referring to in episode 1, that she herself is not allowed to kill her because there was a deal made that keeps Rio, or Death, basically, from taking Agatha. And
you think she Bender Futurama with the robot devil her son?
Possibly.
Where she just booted that motherfucker right into a lava pit?
Possibly. But that's going to create the conflict in episode 9 between Rio and Agatha. That Rio actually can attempt to now kill Agatha because the pact that was made that's keeping Death from taking Agatha is now broken because Agatha did something in her trying to take care of Billy that basically freed Death from being restricted. And
I like that we got the invisible stroke of the beard there.
You gotta Christensen always makes shit sound better than it is, though. That's that's his gift. All right, so
I think that
I've been right this entire series so far.
I think that what I would like to see in these next 2 episodes.
Find the fallacies in his argument, and then you get to argue yours.
I also threw a comment out in our messenger group this week that we need to prepare the Yu-Gi-Oh music because yes, indeed we did. Lillian had the heart of the cards the entire time this episode, and the cards were actually played to reality and affected reality.
I agree with James that I would really just like to see a good ending. I think it would be interesting as well for it to just kind of be not a good ending for Agatha. If Agatha loses at the end, and like they trap her or they do something, you know what I mean? Like I don't want any of the people that are left out of those 3 to die at the end, because I think that any of them can still continue to be great villain, and they need to keep them around.
Yeah, but wouldn't the penultimate evil ending be for her to win out?
Agatha?
No.
Agatha.
Because I think
just to be the
I think
ultimate
evil. If you play that Billy fabricated the whole thing and he's kind of been working with Rio the whole time, you don't even have to play him as a bad guy yet. Just Rio's gonna get him his brother, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Like he's got something to win out, and he allows her to either trap or seemingly kill Agatha.
Well,
so who's your vote on who you want to be the most evil then?
Rio's death in the end. She could be crazy, but she needs to be.
Wait, is death actually evil, or is death just doing their job?
In the comic book, they play it both ways.
I don't think death is actually evil though. Death is just doing what death has to do.
It does. You know, but no
fine.
Good or bad. It
Yeah.
just does.
That's fine, but this version of death and the version of death in the comic book craves death. Yeah. So they will do anything to get it. And having Agatha dead means that whatever soul of Agatha's is in her realm, and she has her forever. That's a very selfish, crazy bitch fucking thing to do, which is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing for that character.
Well, I think it was shown in episode 6 too, by having Agatha be inserted into all those disasters that took place, is that Agatha was working on behalf of Death, and Death was getting a lot out of that relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. I also but it's still, for me, the series is called Agatha All Along. I need a strong Agatha ending. It could be cathartic. It could be her demise. It could be any number of things. But I need it to be rewarding to Agatha. Like, I need to, and I would argue, I don't think they've really let the character shine too much here or there. So it's like, I hope they get really into it.
What is your definition of rewarding though? Because if we go back to WandaVision, was that
I would love if she killed everybody and took everybody's powers and went home and had some tea.
But
if she slaughters everybody and just goes home and that's that, Agatha All Along, that's a rewarding ending.
I told you I was gonna win the whole time.
Because was the end of WandaVision rewarding for Wanda?
But exactly, that's the problem. Is what Wanda needed at the in WandaVision, she was in denial about her husband's death and the loss of her life and everything, and it was so that's kind of hard to execute with what should be the reward of that. It should be she was a fulfilled person by the end of that show, and she just wasn't. She just became maybe evil. It was okay, and what's funny is they did more with Vision than they did with Wanda as far as coming to terms with what you are. So so I would say they had a pretty good wrap up for Vision, but I don't think they had a good wrap up for Wanda.
No.
Well,
I think you created a character that's very strong and is dealing with great grief,
and then you just flipped it to a new grief at the end.
Yeah,
all you did is say, "Oh well, now she doesn't seem perturbed about Vision anymore, but now she made these kids that now she lost, and now she's doing evil shit because she's
and again there can be you can really write a great script, but there's been a couple of times, I thought Iron Man 3 was going to be my fucking favorite movie. It was a superhero shell shock, PTSD or whatever, how a superhero deals with trauma. And then I went and saw Iron Man 3 and was like, well, fuck me, I couldn't have been more fucking wrong.
I just feel like I want to sing. You can't always get what you want.
I think that's $1 million idea and concept. I just haven't seen that sort. But we might get it here. If we get it here,
if it continues the trend, I don't know that the ending is going to be quote unquote rewarding for Agatha.
Yeah.
I think Agatha will win in the end, but I don't think what she's going to still fully go on with whatever she acquires at the end of it.
Leave some character arc room on these things because they know that if they do well, they want to do another one.
Whatever on the whole Marvel thing. Because like I said, the post-credit scene for WandaVision was clearly a setup for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. But the ending to WandaVision was she got the closure she needed from the death of Vision, but she didn't. But then she also realized that she was the worst possible person for how she went about doing it.
I mean, but I disagree with you. At the end of WandaVision, she doesn't get the closure from Vision's death. She sees it, she understands, but it's like the next thing is just her with a spell book.
Again,
and so it's like
I'm
2 minutes.
I'm excluding that from the show because again, that was a scene that was tacked on specifically for the continuance of Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What else they've done with her in the context after that? Credits start rolling. You're correct. That is a pretty like, hey, I'm ready to move on kind of an ending.
Yeah, she's ready to move on, but at the same time, she realized that she was a terrible person. So she didn't get a happy ending. She just got closure.
There's no such thing as
she got a David Banner.
No, you just
wait one more time, James. I want to hear that.
Perspective. Like it's all perspective. It's fine.
Okay, Obi-Wan.
Okay. Benini jumped up on those
I want that on
at
your
the
gravestone.
Oscars. Okay, that's a terrible person right there. All right.
Oh,
he also did Life Is
I
Beautiful.
want that on your gravestone.
Hey, I heard that Harvey Weinstein needs someone to be a character witness.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sorry. You said you didn't want an Obi-Wan ending, and you go full Obi-Wan on us right now from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
Dare you?
No, fucking man. Yeah, if this show ends with like a bullshit wrap up, and then she's like, "Oh my God, what a witchy Avengers!" You know, a witch Nick Fury shows up and asks her to join it. Like, I'm gonna be fucking done. I'm gonna be so fucking done. You won't even know.
I hope it happens.
No witch Fury.
Hold up. Spoiler warning for everybody. James Kopp isn't even going to be here next week.
I'm not going to be here next week, but I tell you right now, anybody watching out there, if there is a witch Nick Fury that shows up to get her to join the witchy Avengers at the end of this, then that actually sounds pretty cool. I'd watch that.
He's like, I redact all my.
Now I know what I want my post-credit scene to be. Not the post-credit scene it's going to be, which is going to feature Billy, but I want now the post-credit scene to be witchy Nick Fury.
All right. Listen up, guys. We will be
witchy Fury.
3/4 of us will be here next week.
Yep.
It will be Halloween. We'll be wrapping up this show, so come join us. After you take the kids out trick-or-treating and all, and till then, we will see you.
Indeed.
Smoking Phat J.
I am Matty Lapone. What an appropriate name for this entire series.
Yes, there you
go. Teenage Kopp.
Teenage Kopp.
There you go.
Teenage Mutant Ninja James Kopp. I am death.
I am become death.
I am become death.
Well,
that
join
is
us
for
next
sure.
Week when we suck this dick of this show hardcore.
There'll be there'll be nothing negative to hear.
I know what's gonna happen.
You might have to send in a video, James.
No. The week after it'll be just the James Kopp show, bitching about the entire series of Agatha All Along.
Where no one cares.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.